All right, chosen ones. So welcome back again to another episode on Atonicus Aurelius Motivates. Today, Saturday, March the 14th, 2026. And I'm about to head out and move out here back to the trail again. The sun is shining today. It looks like a real nice day, so I'm going to take advantage of this time while we have it. And I'm going to take advantage of this time to talk to you today about some things that's on my mind. So let's go, man. Chosen one. You are rare. You're one of the rare few that there are that's left, that's real, that's genuine. That's what sets you apart. You know, you're one of the ones that still believe in honesty in a dishonest world. You're one of the ones that still wants to live right in a world that's full of lies and just wickedness and evil all around, and so many people who are unbelievers and who don't carry the light that you carry. You know, and now, you know, we are going into spring. This is March the 14th, you know, weather's warming up and all of that. But you know, things are not the same. There's a different feeling in the air. I think we can all agree that, you know, things are not the same. And I remember back during Christmas time, people were saying back then that even Christmas didn't feel the same no more. And that, you know, it seemed like there was just something different about the whole season and everything. And then, you know, we came through the new year and all of that, and February went by. You know, time started speeding up. It just felt like time was speeding up, and it seemed like January just blew by like nothing, man. You know, and I was out doing my walk and talks and stuff like that, and I had mentioned that in several of my videos, that you could just feel like the time was speeding up because the months was just going by so fast. And then February just flew by. And then, you know, I think a lot of the things that happened at the end of February and into March, none of us was expecting. But we were expecting it, us chosen ones, you know, because we knew, we could feel it. We knew we was expecting something, but we didn't really know what. We didn't know what it was going to be, you know, but we weren't, you know, completely sure of what it was going to be, but we knew something was happening. We knew something was coming because we saw how all these, you know, evil ones were being exposed. They was being exposed. You know, they was being exposed. And so then we saw that they did what they did, and we know it was out of desperation. What they did, also we know it was because we know Satan knew his time was running out. That's another reason why they was pushed into putting us into this situation. This is what they do. Like I said before, they do these things every time to try to distract people from the truth and from themselves for their evil. And they have no feelings about like anyone else but themselves, because all they care about is that they don't go down for their crimes. Because they know if they go down for their crimes, then that would mean that new people would come and take their place who would be just and probably would be more, the type of people that would be for the people and not against oppressing the people and stuff like that. And they don't want that to happen. They don't want none of that to happen because, like I said, they have to keep the simulation going. They have to keep the matrix going, because that's how they make all their money, is off the matrix, and that's how they control the masses. But you know all this, right, Chosen One? You know all this. And so, like I said before, they put us in this situation now, and this added a whole different variable to our lives, because this makes our lives disrupted again. Because this is the type of thing that we know is going to cause problems in the economy and everything like that, which is exactly what they want, because we know what they want is their new world order and their antichrist system with the mark of the beast and all of that. But Chosen One, that this is the hour right now that we are in. That is the time where we must keep our faith more than ever. Because we knew and we know what the word told us. Because like I said, we have it up here in our mind. What it said in Revelation, what it said in Daniel, the prophecy about what was to come in the end times. And we know that no man knows the time or the hour. Like it says in Matthew 24:30 through 31 through 36, or 32 through 36. We know that, let me see if I can pull that up real quick and read that again. The parable of the fig tree, right? That as soon as we saw the signs, we would know the times. We would know them for what they were. Okay, so it says, and he will send his angels with a loud trumpet call, and they will gather his elect from the four winds, from one end of the heavens to the other. Now learn this lesson from the fig tree. As soon as its twigs get tender and its leaves come out, you know that summer is near. Even so, when you see all these things, you know that it is near, right at the door. Truly I tell you, this generation will certainly not pass away until all these things have happened. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away. But about that day and or hour, no one knows, not even the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father. As it was in the days of Noah, so it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. For in the days before the flood, people were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, up to the day Noah entered the ark, and they knew nothing about what would happen until the flood came and took them all away. That is how it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. 2 men will be in the field, one will be taken and the other left. 2 women will be grinding with a hand mill, one will be taken and the other left. Therefore, keep watch, because you do not know what day your Lord will come. But understand this, if the owner of the house had known what time of night the thief was coming, he would have kept watch and would not have let his house be broken into. So you must also be ready, because the Son of Man will come in an hour when you do not expect him. So, now, you know, is the time for us to prepare ourselves and keep watch, chosen one. More than ever. More than ever. Because see, we don't have no fear of none of this, because we know that we are not destined for wrath. And there's another verse about that too as well. And I'll bring that out for you and probably put it up on the screen later in the video. But we know that he has not destined us for wrath, that we came here for our mission to do what we came to do. Yeah, they probably rejected us, and yes, you was rejected, chosen one, and it hurt. And you was even attacked for your faith and stuff like that. You was mistreated, misunderstood. People walked away from you. You had to cut people off. Things happen. You know, and that was the way it was. But that was the way it had to be. Because, you know, you had to be who you were always meant to be. And you couldn't be as long as you was around them. Because all they was going to do was continue to keep you dragged down in their nonsense. And you couldn't be a part of it. You refused to be a part of it. You wasn't going to, you wasn't going to resort to things that you knew were not going to be in alignment with who you know you were and what you know you believed in. So you went in on yourself. You became closer to the Most High. And then you started working on yourself every day. That's what you had to do so you could advance. And you made it through a lot. You made it through things that most other people would not have survived. It's a miracle you made it through what you made it through. It really is. They tried to, do everything they could to destroy you. Because the devil came to steal, kill, and destroy. That's what he came to do. But we already know that John 10:10, he came to give us life and give it to us more abundantly. So we know that he has the abundant life for us, not the life they wanted to give us. And not the life the devil wanted to give us. We wouldn't accept that life. We're not never going to accept that life. And we're not going to accept none of this, what's coming. What we know they're trying to do, what we know they're hell-bent on doing with their evil. And I just been reading this book, man, and I'm going to share it with y'all, man. I've been spending a lot of time just reading this book right here. It's a new book, what I just got, by Hal Lindsey. It's another book, The Rapture. And I really do believe that this will happen, because there will be a 7 years of tribulation on the earth. We already know. We know that now we see the prophecy unfolding, where we know that now this is all done with malicious intent and being done with malicious intent, the same way the whole thing like that was done with malicious intent. And all that was, I believe in my mind, was just a pre-run, like a test run for what they was getting ready to do. Because we know they've been planning all of this stuff for decades in advance. These wicked, evil witches and warlocks. And the Masons and the Illuminati and all of that. But anyway, man, I'm about to go ahead and cut the video right there. And then I'm gonna get out and take a walk. I'm gonna go ahead and get these steps in while the sun is still nice out here, while it's a nice day. And then I'm gonna just talk to y'all some more about, this stuff, and break this down a little bit more for you, because you a rare one, chosen one. There is none like you. You're one of the few real ones left. You want to be real. You've always wanted that. And it's because you was called, you was chosen. You was called for this purpose. You was set apart. That's the reason why you had to go through all the hell you had to go through. All right? So I'm going to be right back with you in just a minute. Hold up. All right, chosen one. So like I was saying, man, and I'm back now. We know they did everything that they did. We know that it was done with malicious intent. Malicious intent is the reason why they did what they did. And we know that they designed both of these things that they did so that they could be irreversible. I think we all know and seen how, like, ever since 2020, that was designed pretty much really to be irreversible too. That was all by design. That whole thing, the way that went down, and it was all part of the illusion. You know the reason why. You always knew the reason why they was doing it. And you was trying to tell people back then You know, you was trying to tell them this is all BS, you know, like you probably even saw like the things that was going on leading up to it or before it. Like Event 201 and stuff like that. Like a lot of people didn't know about that, but you knew about that too. And what they had the whole pre-run, because you knew it was all premeditated. Everything was premeditated, pre-planned. You knew about that. A lot of people didn't know about that, but you knew about that, Chosen One. And you saw about that because you always been one of them ones who knew about the conspiracy and all of that, which so many people, you know, looked at that as, and looked at us as being crazy conspiracy theorists. But now we see that it was not conspiracy. They designed these things to be irreversible on purpose, in order to crash the world economy. So we saw how the first time, the first one with the first crisis they manufactured with that was the first hit to the world economy, because we know that disrupted the whole world, right? It disrupted all of our lives, made us have to go inside, shelter inside for no reason. It took us off our jobs. It closed everything down. And then that was another revelation about the whole church building and stuff like that, that we know that was just part of the system too, because, well, we already knew that the church buildings and all of that was part of the system, 501(c) tax exempt and stuff like that, making money off the name of Christ and stuff like that. Because we know, just like Paul said, some preach Christ out of selfish ambitions, and some preach Christ authentically. So we know that the whole religious system and all of that shut down along with everything else, because we know that is all a money-making system, that where they're tax exempt by the government, so they're affiliated with the government. So we've seen the whole thing of that just further validated that was all an illusion. That's the reason why you, Chosen One, was never part of none of that, and you couldn't be a part of none of that, and you had to go through the things that you had to go through with multiple religions, you know. And I've explained that before in previous videos about multiple religions, the Mormon religion that I came from, and all of this stuff like this with the denominations and all of this is all just by design to blind people from the truth, which you already know, Chosen One, is Jesus Christ. And so I could do a whole nother video about that. But you know, now we see that what has happened when they took and used the new variable of the military industrial complex, which we already know the military industrial complex is used by them for their goals. They use war to make money. That's what they do. They send people off to die in these wars for no reason. Most of these wars are pointless. And so this war that they done put us in now, it's not going to end easily. You don't just start a war and then pull out of it real easy. You know, it's not something like that you can just end overnight. So now they got us in an irreversible situation with that. And all this was done. All of this was done intentionally. They knew very well what they was doing when they did all of this. Like I said, this was all for a specific purpose, to fulfill what they've been wanting for so very long, for the masses. And people just kept driving around oblivious to it all, like everything was fine and dandy. And now we see them, well, we saw them all for who they were, and now we see more. So everything for what it is, and for what it always has been. The big deception, the great deception that they led everyone to believe. They led everyone to believe that politicians are going to solve the problems. Politicians do not solve the problems. Politicians, we know now, are both wings of the same bird, the same wicked, evil bird. And I think back to about like how, like, you know, it was kind of like, it was so obvious because that it was all a stage thing, this battle between the Democrats and the Republicans, how it was all staged the whole time. Because if you think back and you remember, after Trump came back into office, it wasn't long after that when don't you remember how, like, the left was always screaming for him to be impeached the first term? Like, even before he even got into office. And then the second term, why wasn't they doing that all over again? It's like all of that stopped. All of the accusations against him stopped. All the dragging him into, that was another proof right there that it was all staged. The whole thing was just an illusion. That they was fighting against each other, but the whole time they was working together. For the same purpose, for the same goal. So now, I will not be surprised if it won't be very long before the Antichrist is revealed. If you ask my opinion, if Trump is not the Antichrist, he's already almost like he is an Antichrist because you can see what is being done is not Christian, and innocent people being killed and stuff like that pointlessly again. So, you know, here we go again. Get ready for some more BS, because this is the way it always is, isn't it, chosen one? But we always saw through the whole thing, the whole entire time. They're all puppets on strings, and the puppet master, the elites, and Satan is the one who controlled them. That's who controlled them the whole time. And so now, you know, like I said before, it's judgment time, and there's no escape for what they did to you, chosen one. There's no escape for what they did to all those innocent people. All these innocent people and all their lives they disrupted, and they caused chaos and controversy in so many people's lives. There's no escape for them. And it's coming. Believe that. So now is the time, we're keeping our eyes open because we know it all. We see it all for what it has always been the whole time. But we're still out here. We did not allow what they did to us to destroy us or to make us become bitter like they wanted it to. We didn't allow what they did to us when they rejected us, when they turned their backs on us and left us for dead, to cause us to lose our self-worth or to lose our faith or to stop believing in ourselves. We didn't allow none of that to happen. That's what they wanted us to do. They wanted all that to happen to us. They wanted us to have absolutely nothing, and they took pleasure in our pain. They took pleasure in watching us suffer. They enjoyed it. And we'll never forget it, chosen one. We forgive, but we don't forget. We're still going to live our lives. We're still going to shine our light regardless until the end, until this whole thing comes to an end. Or until whatever happens, happens. But we're going to face it. And we're going to face it with our faith. We're going to keep our faith. We're going to keep shining our light. We're going to keep doing what we're doing. We're going to keep fighting the good fight of faith. We're not going to let them take us down or make us lose just because they didn't like our message, just because our message was different and because our message was real. We're not going to let that stop us. We're not going to let none of what they did to us stop us. Because like I said, you already know, chosen, well, we real, and we're the few real ones that's left on the earth in a world full of fakeness and fakes and snakes everywhere. They're all over the place. You already know they're all over the place out here every day. Few can be trusted anymore. And the time for trying to save people who don't want to be saved, chosen one, you already know that time is over. You're not reaching to the same audience no more. You're reaching to different audiences, new audiences on your platforms or whatever you're doing. You're reaching out to a whole different group of people who are actually hungry for the word and actually hungry for what you was always wanting to give them that they would never receive. See, because you can't never throw your pearls to pigs, to swines. You can't throw your pearls to swines. They will, unless they turn and try to trample you and all of that. We know that was in the word too, he told us. And I'll probably put that verse up on the screen again too later. But yeah, we're anticipating and waiting for everything to happen that we knew and we know is going to happen. We're ready for it. We're warriors. We don't back down for nothing or for nobody just because they misunderstand us or they don't see our worth and they cast us aside and stuff like that. We're not worried about none of that. We're not worried about none of that because we already know that came with this territory. That's what came with this territory. That's what we were designed to do. We were designed to endure all of this because we them diamonds. them diamond royals here on the earth. Once we gone, there ain't gonna be none others like us ever again. You are unique. You're gifted in ways that others aren't, chosen one. You know you are. And your spiritual eyes are open. They always have been. So anyway, I guess I'm gonna go ahead and wrap the video up. But I hope this helped you out today, chosen one, to remember and to know who you are. We know that we already win. In the end, we already won. We won this battle already with the Most High. So no matter what happens, we're just going to continue doing what we're doing. We're going to continue being who we are every day. And now, we no longer holding back no more. We no longer dimming down for nobody. We no longer trying to, we're no longer trying to be something that we're not. We're being who we are and who we were always meant to be. And they can't stop us. They can't never stop us. That's what they wanted to do. They wanted to stop us. They wanted to stop our ministries. They wanted to stop our mission. They wanted to paint us black. They wanted to paint us as the villains. They wanted to make us out to be the ones that were the problem. The whole time they was the problem. And the whole time they was following the ones who were part of the problem. That's who they was following. That's who they was celebrating. The wicked evil ones. They didn't celebrate us. They didn't celebrate our talents. They celebrated the talents that honored the Satan and the wicked evil ones. That's who they celebrated. That's who they chose to celebrate. The wicked evil ones. So the wicked evil ones is going to burn now. And their time is coming in the lake of fire. Our time is coming where we rising above all of them. It's our time to shine. Right now. They can't never hold us down, chosen one. Never. That's what they wanted to do. They tried to hold us down, tried to dim us down, and tried to stop us. Because they reject the Most High. They reject Jesus Christ. They rejected him. But we don't care though. Like I said, I hope this helped y'all out today, chosen ones. We just keep marching every day. Non-stop. Every day. Just like the soldiers we are. Every day. Alright? So I'm going to go ahead and close the video out now so I can upload all this. And I'm going to catch y'all on the next one. Alright? Love. Light. Peace. Blessings to you all. And let not your heart be troubled. We don't have no fear. Until we see him appear, we are ready. All right? So, yeah. And I'm going to go ahead and close it right there. I'm out.